guys, I've got a story time for y'all. This one is involving this Jaguar. It is about the wheels on this car. And starts back in 2020 with alloy wheel repair in CarMax. I found one of the wheels curved when I bought the vehicle. I said to CarMax, I want the wheel fixed. They said that only one center, one place is authorized to do work with CarMax, and that is alloy wheel repair. And I was fine with that. I've never worked with them before. It's a brand new company to me. I looked on Google, they had decent reviews. I said, okay, I'll take my vehicle to Alloy Wheel. And they stated that they're going to powder coat that one wheel. I don't want one wheel perfect, most likely a deeper black than the other three OEM ones, or a different shade. It just looks different, so I wanted all four done. CarMax stated they wouldn't pay for the other three, so I footed the bill for the three wheels at Alloy Wheel. They powder coated all four, 24-hour turnaround. So you drop the vehicle off at Alloy Wheel, you give them the keys, they keep it overnight, and they powder coat all your wheels for you, and then that following morning, you pick up your vehicle and it's supposed to be all hunky-dory. So I show up the next morning, and all four wheels have defects in the paint. There's drips, droops, and orange peel on all four. It is a terrible job, horrendous job. I said that's completely unacceptable. I wrote something stink about it. I pretty much, I feel bad for that. I feel bad for that little sales guy, but I'm 100% sure I pointed across on what I want done. I stated that I wanted it stripped down to bare metal. I don't care how long it takes, just get it done and done correctly, right? It's a nice vehicle. I want it done correctly. I take pride in my things. So, and he said, not a problem, sir, we'll take care of it. And then I said, fantastic, and gave him the keys. And I said, well, I'll be back whenever you're done. Just give me a call. He said, well, we'll be back in 24 hours. Very skeptical, because it takes quite a while to off-gas stripping from wheels after it's been acid stripped or tank stripped. So I was, okay, whatever. Got a call in 24 hours. I went back down. Same drips on the same wheels. So the drips were the same location, the same droops, and the orange peel was less. It was a little bit less orange peel. So I told them, I said, no, what are you guys doing? It's still the same quality. I need, please, this is completely unacceptable. I talked to the manager. They said, not a problem, sir, we'll redo it. So they redid it a third time, and I told 24 hours, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, I come back in 24 hours. It's the same stuff. So clearly that is the quality of which they produce, and I am just, I'm beating a dead horse at this point. So I accepted my fate that is what I'm going to get, and I am, I'm SOL, right? So, and I made the internal realization, as long as the coating holds and prevents corrosion on the wheels, I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day, the 15-foot view wasn't bad. From 15 foot, you couldn't tell. It had drips and orange peel, but as soon as you got close to it, you could tell it was terrible. And as I go to leave that third time, I noticed that the bottom of the steering wheel, one of the technicians had something in a pocket, and as they got out of the vehicle, they scored the bottom of the wheel. Or they had something on the pants. You could see that there was like a huge white. I'll put a picture here of what it was, but it was a big smear of white with two little scores in it. And I told Alloy Wheel, I was like, that's unacceptable. You need to be sure that you're careful when moving vehicles, especially vehicles with leather interiors. You can't be using utility clothing or anything that's going to score, scrape, scratch any internal leather. They said, not a problem. We'll fix that for you. I said, thank you. I said, I prefer if you replace the steering wheel, and it'll be at the Jaguar dealer at blank, because it was going in for a service. And I said, well, while it's there, just go ahead and call that dealership and have the steering wheel replaced. And he said, well, we don't do that. And I foolishly accepted their third-party vendor that would repair the leather for me. You know, and I was like, all right, well, if it's what they're gonna do, it's what they're gonna do. And I said, well, I don't trust them in paint anymore. I should be able to trust them in leather, foolishly. And I was trusting them because they do work in high-end vehicles. When I showed up, there was other Land Rovers, Discovery, Disco Sports. I saw a very good friend of mine, his Z06 was there. And I was like, okay, well, they clearly do high-end vehicles. And I was like, okay, do a little bit. Comes back, looks flawless. And I was like, all right, thank you so much. And I washed my hands of the situation, and I accepted the fact that I was gonna have shop wheels. And fast forward 2 years. The end of 2022, the wheels started delaminating. Yeah, you can see. I can actually get my finger under it. I can actually break pieces of the powder coating. And I was furious. Also, the bottom of the steering wheel, that repair that they did was already starting to peel as well. I'll put a video, or I think I have a picture. I'll put a little picture up here of the steering wheel. It's basically the little plastic piece there, the plastic spray or whatever coating they put on the wheel. It just comes off, you know, and it's absolutely, it looks like garbage. So I actually have a video of that I sent a private YouTube video. Just shit like this. Come on. To the district manager of Alloy Wheel. And in that private video was me showing him the delaminating powder coating. And I'll put the little kick in right here of me peeling the powder coating off the wheel. And it is plain as day. It's just straight coming off. And I sent it to the, like I said, the general manager or the district manager. And I called the front desk people. I gave my name and number, so they know who I am. They know what's going on with me. I sent the general manager the video. It got, I think, 6 views, so I know they viewed it, and other people at the office also viewed it. And I got no phone calls, no nothing, you know. So I knew at that point that Alloy Wheel, they didn't care. You know, it was, they're trying to wash their hands of my situation. And it's unfortunate, you know. So at that point, I'm done. You know, I go to a very good friend of mine. He has done many wheels for me after the fact, because after I experienced a wheel, I found another vendor to do powder coating, and they are the best of the best. It's Miller's Performance Powder Coating in Wilburn, Georgia. They do Pro Mod chassis, they do everything under the sun. Their ovens are as big as cars. They bake entire chassis. I've seen them do whole entire cars. They've done my Ducati wheels, my Puch wheels, and everything they do, absolute perfection, absolute perfection. And they use top quality. They strip the wheels like they're supposed to do, and they off-gas them for a week before they powder coat them. And I go to him with this situation, and he starts laughing at me, and he then sits me down and he tells me this story. And the story is that Alloy Wheel Repair doesn't strip the wheels. They scuff the wheels as they clean them off when they get them. They dismount tires, they clean them. They scuff the wheel, they clean it with a little bit of alcohol, and then they bake the wheel before they hit powder coating, right? So they heat the substrate up to a really hot temperature to where it'll melt that powder coating the instant that powder hits the wheel. And they do a method that's called hot flocking, is the terminology they use, is hot flocking. and they hot flock the wheel. And then as soon as it's done hot flocking, that melted paint immediately adheres to whatever it's sprayed onto. Whether it's painted or already powder coated or dirty substrate, they just put it on the wheel. And then they finish bake it for a couple hours, and then it's done within 24 hours. That is how they do the 24-hour turnaround. And they continue to do this to their customers, which is very misleading that they're putting out advertisements for top quality work, and they continue to deliver subpar results. And it's unfortunate that people and companies do this and screw people over. And the whole point I'm trying to get with this video is just a public service announcement. And it's a warning that if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If it's too cheap, it's too cheap. You get what you pay for. And Miller's, they described it and everything, and he led me to a shipping container of the to be picked up orders, and there were 3 sets of wheels. He said, okay, these 3 sets of wheels, and they're all cleanup jobs. And I was like, cleanup? Yeah, well, these are all cleanup jobs from out of the wheel. And I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't even know how they're in business anymore, and the whole story. And I was just flabbergasted that, and not only that, but I'm hearing friends of mine, very close friends of mine, oh, I'm gonna take my wheels over and have them powder coated at alloy wheel, and I'm just terrified for them, and especially, it's a motorcycle wheel, and it's a $25,000 motorcycle, and I'm just like, no, please don't. I have to tell them the whole story of what goes on, and they're just shocked, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling every ounce of the truth of what's going on. And what I told you is half the story. I get the wheels back from Miller's, freshly powder coated, and before I made this video, I contacted Alloy Wheel one more time, and I asked them, step up, own up to your mistakes, own up to what you did, and make it right. Put me at 0 balance or close to it, and I would have accepted, and I'm sorry. And they wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even accept any financial responsibility for what they did. They did admit that in 2020 they had sub-quality powder coating and subpar application methods. He did not know what the terminology of hot flocking was. I described him what it was, and he said that he was not familiar and he was not over the shop at that time, and he is only over the shop now, and that he would honor his lifetime warranty, and he would take the wheels back and he would powder coat them again. And I, obviously, I said no, and I said, would you trust me? And like if I did the same thing to you? And he's like, well, no. And I was like, well, that's why I can't trust you, And he said that honestly he wouldn't take my wheels because now I would be extra scrutinous of the work, which he is absolutely right. And he wouldn't want to take my job, and that is true in every word. I would be extra scrutinous, and I would scrutinize every extent and every aspect of their job because of what they do and what I have experienced. So I told him, there's nothing we can do at this point other than monetary compensation. I said, pay for the stripping, pay to have my wheels washed of your product, and pay to have my steering wheel replaced. We'll call us even. We'll be done. We'll part ways. We're done, right? I don't want to ever cross paths, or any of my friends cross paths with Alloy Wheel. It was a absolute nightmare. He said, absolutely not. And I told him, well, I am a small business owner. And if I do something wrong, I step up. I take care of it. It's my word. It's my brand. It's everything, right? It's how I make money. It's how I make a living. I step up. I take care of it in every aspect. And I make sure that when I make a mistake, that customer says, thank you very much, and we're going to continue to do business with you in every way. And I told him that, and I said, as a small business owner, I'm asking you to step up. I'm asking you to take care of your customers and do what's right. And he said, I told him, he didn't say anything to that. I said, well, you've got my contact information. You have my email, you have my phone numbers, call me. And I said, you have a nice day. I don't expect anything from the wheel. That's done. I will tell you of a company that the next run-in with these wheels, I get them freshly powder coated. They've been baking for a week. They're done. I pick them up from Miller's. I go right back to Discount Tire. And Discount Tire, I drop them off. I drop off the wheels. They ooh and they ah. And I said, please, 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 please be careful. They don't know what happened without a wheel. All they know is I'm dropping off a new set of wheels. And I said, no, just be careful, please. Please be careful. And I said, I don't care how long it takes. The same whole shit. I said, I don't care how long it takes. Just take your time. Perfection. And they said, not a problem, sir. You want them at 6 o'clock? Which is in like 2 hours, right? Or you want them tomorrow? I was like, it doesn't matter. Just text me when it's done, right? They text me in an hour. And they say, they are done. I show up to Discount Tire. I walk into the service bay, and I look at the wheels, and they're staggered wheels, so the rears will sit like up, and the fronts sit down. And I noticed that the front rubber is on one set. The front rubber is on the back rim, so it's stretched, and the back rubber is on one of the front rims, and it's all bulged out, And I'm like, hey. Come on here, come on here, you need to look at this, you have to change this. And they start changing it over, and as they grab those two wheels, I feel the faces of the other ones, and they're scratched. They're scratched all the way around the front on the rear, and then on the same front, that side of the front, it's scratched around the front. And I said, when you dismount those tires, just leave them dismounted. Go ahead and dismount these ones here. I need to speak to your manager. This has to be, you've already scratched them. And as they brought those two rims back to me, they had severe rim clamp damage on the back, all the way into the aluminum substrate. I'll put a video or a picture here of the rim clamp damage. And then I also have a picture of the scoring of the clear coat. I'll put here as well. And it was scored bad enough to the point where Miller's said that it couldn't be repaired, that it had to go through that whole process again. So it has to be acid dipped, sandblasted, prepped, powder coated, powder coated, powder coated, powder coated, and then sent out. And they, Discount Tires said, we're not a problem. We're going to cover every single penny of your expense. And they did. Discount Tire stepped up. They owned up to their mistakes. The insurance company called me. I sent them videos. He was shocked. He was like, I am so sorry for what happened. I said, not a problem. Just here's the invoice I paid for the first job of Miller's. And he's like, okay, well, I'll send you a check for that amount. And when I dropped him off at Miller's, he copied the invoice to the next invoice, and he's going to do it again. So we're going to do this again. And I will be taking the wheels to, I believe what it's called is an Auto 34 center post clamp touchless robot machine that won't scratch or have the possibility to scratch the powder coating on the brand new wheels. So at this point, that is the point going forward. And I'll be using a local vendor that is trusted thoroughly in the car community. And I will no longer be using anyone that is mainstream, main label, that will, it's crazy. It's a story. is blown my mind with people that will just, at every angle, take advantage of you and deceive you and not own up to what they do, even with indisputable proof in front of them. They deny till they're blue in the face, and it is disgusting. And I'm beyond furious. I'm just depressed. I'm just depressed that this is happening in the car community, and people still do this, and it's shocking. I'm not even shocked anymore. But I will post a video of the complete, correct, and proper wheels, and have a beautiful set of wheels finally, after 3 years of having shoddy work. I will have a proper set of wheels on this Jaguar, and I am so excited. And this Jaguar has been on stands for a month waiting for this, and it's infuriating. But I actually have my Ducati sitting right here, and I will show you the work Miller's does. This is the work Miller's, I'll tell you what, when they say perfection, they mean it. This is absolute perfection. The wheels, the powder coating that they make and they do, the prismatic powders that they use, absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. I will see you guys in the next video of properly powder coated Jaguar wheels. Thanks for staying in.